Hello guys and girls and welcome to one more AI Artist TV. Today I'm super excited because I love this subject. Let me ask you something. Do you know what Da Vinci, Van Gogh, Gauguin, Cézanne, Veneer, all those big master painters, all those big master works have in common? They all are oil paintings. And that's what we're gonna play today with Midjourney. I want you at the end of this video to be able to become one of those master painters, but not copy their style, create your own, understanding exactly what you can put in the canvas, how to manipulate the colors, manipulate the techniques, the paints, etc, etc. And I believe this will be the first part because I'm going to be covering here around 10 to 15 different techniques for oil painting in Midjourney, and I believe that will be a very good start for you, okay? So let's jump into the action. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun doing this. To start the fun, I'm gonna use a very common subject. I'll use what we call in oil paints a motif. There we go. Oil painting, side view of a peasant lady walking to the village. I'm putting aspect ratio 3.2. I'm gonna see here, you're gonna see a very interesting result here. Okay, here we go. So as you can see, one thing that happened on the results here, although two of them gave me already without the frames, two of those results gave me a frame. And this will happen a lot if I start using only oil painting, because Midjourney gets the painting and start creating frames and canvas because he thinks I want to have a picture of a painting. So, and that's not exactly, I want the technique which is called oil painting. So the first trick I'm going to give you guys today here, and you always have to use this with the oil painting Midjourney version 4, is do it like this. In the end of the prompt that we have here, we're going to put no, we're going to deny frames, comma, canvas. Just put this in the end, no frames, comma, canvas. And that's all you need to do. So now your oil paints, we're not gonna have more of those things. By the way, at any time you have this problem, just put no frames and canvas, and you got rid of this problem. What I'm gonna step now on this process here, we're gonna be working on the same picture of this lady here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be showing first. I'm gonna cover with you guys kind of stroke, kind of painting that we can do, showing the size of the brushes that we can use in the picture from Pointillism. That is the first one. So the first one I'm going to show here is a very detailed one, which is called Pointillism. Pointillism with the two L's. This is I'm being very small brush, and then I'm going to a larger brush besides the common one is called impasto. Those are the two strongest ones that we can go. Those are two that can go. We can go even stronger than impasto. I'm going to show it. We're going Pointillism and impasto, as you see here already. Now I have a painting without the frames, and it's the spectrum that I want, and that's how we're going to be working from now on our painting. We have here the side view, villager, going to the village, and without the frames. So let's see now what happens with the Pointillism. Pointillism, notice that you're going to be very good for details, and if you want to do the details here, you got to put Pointillism. And by the way, one thing that I'm going to start using that we can use as well, I know normally you can also use terms that you use for illustrations or photos you can use as well. But I always like to start using first the terms that are related with oil painting, relate with this kind of art, before start using other terms, okay? So for example, if I want to give more details to the picture here, so for example, I got this Pointillism here, which is very rich on details already, but I want to give even more details, I can say at the beginning of the prompt, detailed oil painting. Helps, it does give you more, or I can get in the end, for example, use a term called scumbling, which is pretty much also giving even more finishing to each element of the picture called scumbling. Let me show, for example, what is this. I will do the both for you to see. I'm gonna get here this oil paint, which is very, oh, by the way, let me show first here the impasto. As you see, impasto is another kind of stroke compared with Pointillism. Pointillism is way more soft, way more in details, and you see now impasto is way more stronger brush, and it's another kind of painting. That's two styles that you start learning now about it. So, but let me show here how we can go even more details. So for example, all the points, I can get this oil painting here, and let's do like this. Imagine I'm gonna put here detail in the beginning, detailed oil painting of the point I will put is a horrible name, it's scumbling, like a SCUM bling, it's scumbling. Okay, I'm gonna put here scumbling. That you're gonna see that you're gonna get now this oil painting, and you're gonna make even more details and even more rich details on this. Okay, I think this is using the terms for oil painting. I think this is the maximum of details we can give. After that, you have two risks. You have a risk of starting getting out of the oil painting world and start doing something else like a digital thing, no more realistic, no more looks like oil painting. One thing that I'm trying doing here today is keep you in the oil painting universe and not letting Midjourney start use a lot of elements which conflicts or mixes the thing. I want you to build up a canvas, and those are the terms that are gonna keep us in the oil painting world. Let's see here the results. As you see now, I gave a lot of details, almost like using intricate details. I give a lot of details now on the picture, on the hats, on the textures, using pointillism, detail, oil painting, pointillism, scumbling. That's one of the top levels of there. We can go here on the brush stroke. Keeping on brush stroke types now. I'm gonna show now two other things that you can control as well on the type of brush that you are doing in the canvas. One of them is called color field. Okay, so let's get here the prompt again, and let's do imagine. Let's take the detail out. I don't need this now. Oil paint side view represent look. Instead of pointillism scumbling, I'm gonna put here color field. I'm gonna choose examples here. First example I'm gonna give you is color field, so you see how the areas of the picture are gonna be applied. Color field and color blocking. Those two terms here will do two different things about the picture. The color field, we will try to separate the colors in different fields. You're gonna see there's an area which is a color, an area it's another color. They will not intertwine too much the pictures. You can see that clear. I hope they have a lot of sky. You can see that very easy on skies and grasses. And the color blocking, they're gonna create an even stronger block of colors. If this thing here is green, it's all the same green. If this here is yellow, it's all the same yellow. So you're gonna create blocks and gonna create files. So this is even further than impasto, which is this brush. You can also create this kind of way that the paint behaves on the canvas. So let's see here. Let me show you guys now. As you see here, now we have the color field. As you see, in the sky, see they have one color for field, or this is a field of this type of blue. This is one field of this type of yellow with one field of, so we create fields of colors. It's not a little much connection, but every area has its fields of color. And the color block is follow the same idea, but it's even stronger. We're gonna get bigger blocks of colors without intervention. So a huge block of color, a huge block of color, huge block of color. So there's a very different type of using the paint on the canvas. So far we learned two things. We learned that we can manipulate the stroke, and we can manipulate also the way the paint on the canvas. The opposite to those two, the color field and color block that we could use here, is palette knifing. Palette knife is pretty much like you get a lot of painting, and you put that at the screen, you create those big blocks of paint. Many famous artists does that. So let's get this one here. Let me show you now what's the palette knife. Palette knife is put a lot of paint in the canvas. Oil painting and later work. Instead of using color block or color paint here, you can mix those. Okay, you can play with all those terms here. Okay, but let's put here now palette. So 2T, palette knife. Am I right? It's right. I think I'm writing right. I know I have a copy here. Oh, by the way, that's a good moment to tell as well. Everything I'm showing here, all those terms, those who are supporting my work, they have access to the spreadsheet. That's one here, which pretty much I have all those terms that I'm going to be talking here today. They can access the spreadsheet, oil painting terms, and you can see all the explanation and all the facts for each of those does. Okay, that's the palette knife that we're putting here now, and you're going to see that you're going to be adding a lot of paints in the canvas, which I think is super interesting as well, depending on the art you're going, especially if you're going with impasto and palette knife. You can create a very shocking amount of colors and paints on the canvas, which is super interesting as well. Let's see here if we gave a lot. Well, I didn't get much, but you can see he is very strong. Now, but this one here is very good to see. There's a lot of paint and a lot of painted added. You see textures, because normally when you see a stroke, you're gonna see a stroke which really the sense of volume on each stroke. Okay, another one that I like, there's many others. Okay, I'm covering here, as I said, about 10 terms. I already spoke about 5 of them here. Is the Impressionism. The Impressionism is that it holds the brush longer on the screen. So that's another one which I like as well. Let's put here imagine Impressionism. You're gonna see how it is. Impressionism. It's very good as well. Impressionism, you're gonna see that all the strokes will be very long on the screen. So if you're doing, for example, one of the colors, it doesn't go step by step. or brush by brush. It goes a little long brush, long pushes are the biggest characteristic of Impressionism, okay? So I think that those are the basics of covering all types of brushes and all type of painting behave on the screen. Let's jump now to the second part, which is talk about the colors and the contrast, how we control that without use those normal terms we use on digital paint. As I said again, I want to keep all the terms in the world of oil paint so we can keep doing oil paint. Here we go. With Impressionism, as you see, the brush are very long. If you're doing some brushes, very long brush strokes that we do everything. That's the Impressionism. So see, it's very clear. See, this is Impressionism. You see that the things are created with very long strokes. Research, or you can have access to my spreadsheet supporting me, or research a lot of techniques, a lot of term oil painting. Midjourney understand all those terms, plays with very well. I mean, I said, I'm giving you the most basic ones. There's a lot of things that we can support with this. So let's go here for the next one. So now let's talk a little bit about how to control the colors of the picture. I will show two extremes now. You can use, there's one we can use that it's gonna get your main subject and will really jump out of the picture. It's called glazing. I love glazing. And let's put here the lady walk the village. Let's put here glazing. As glazing, it's gonna make the main subject glaze out. I would say that I don't know exactly what would be the effect on the camera on illustration, but it's glazing. You're gonna see how it is. It's very interesting, and that's one thing I believe as well. I believe because oil paint, that's amazing because it's how people manipulate colors and effects without being a photo artist. So that's a very interesting way to see how it does. Not exactly the opposite, but could be considered the opposite. The glazing that we can do here is sfumato, is an Italian name. That will be the opposite of glazing. Instead of stand out the main subject for the background, I will pretty much try to smoky everything together. Is sfumato. Let me show you here. Let's put here. It will be the almost kind of opposite of glazing. It's sfumato. As you see here, now we got the glazing here already. As you see the glazing, it got my main subject and jumped out of the picture. It gave a lot of very good effect. That amazing paint is a very hard technical thing, but it's now you see that my subject is way more bright, way more glazing backgrounds that we have here in the picture. And this sfumato, you're gonna see that it's gonna be a little more smoky, everything gonna be together. This sfumato is loading here. Let's see. Here you go now with this sfumato. As you see, now the background is a little smoky, also over in top of the subject as well. It's no more like the glazing was very much jumping out of the picture. Sfumato give you more a sense of, I would say, more opaque to the painting. Although my subject on this picture is very colorful, the lady is Midjourney is giving me very colorful. It seems to be very colorful, but if you see, it's pretty much more opaque with all the composition. That's the term, is sfumato, is an Italian term. So let's move on now on this kind of controlling the colors and contrast, and let's play with another one very important here, which is fresco e chiaroscuro. Those are, I know those are all Italian terms, but I think they dominate the techniques for a long time. So the first one is fresco. Fresco is one of the most, it is more like if you want to do something bright, you do fresco. So fresco is pretty much gonna make the picture very clear, very bright, and during the day, midday, is a fresco painting. And the opposite to the fresco would be the chiaroscuro. Chiaroscuro is right down like this. Chiaroscuro. Chiaroscuro. Let me see if I write chiaroscuro. Yeah, chiaroscuro gonna put us very strong contrast and more darker, somber. Okay, so we're gonna have here now the frescoes are finished load. Here we go, fresco. As you see, very bright, middle of the day, super contrast, and we can use fresco for glazing. It's one of the most bright things. As a very like a Renoir or something very bright, very colorful. So that's fresco, oil paint with fresco. And let's go to the opposite now. I would say opposite as well, but something that goes the other way around, which is the chiaroscuro. As you see here, chiaroscuro, everything is more somber, everything's more darker, the contrast is strong, a little more smoky. I can go even stronger than that. I just remember one here. We can go even stronger than that oil painting, which is the tenebrism. Let me show you guys. This one is even more somber. This is sfumato, very smoky, very darker, strong contrast. And we can go here, tenebrism, which gonna make even more somber picture. So we can even go. So I'm going to fresco to tenebrism. Those are two extremes. on oil painting. And right now I can tell, for example, let's have fun here. Let's see something very happy and bright. So let's put here, as I said, we can get let's put Pointillism, very good on details. Let's put Glazing, Fresco, scumbling. Village, Pointillism, Glazing, Fresco, scumbling. Now, that's going to be something very bright and beautiful, very good on details as well. If you put that, for example, in the gallery, you open your work in the gallery for people to see, oh my God, this guy really understands about oil painting. So let's see now here, the tenebrism. We got the tenebrism here. It's a little sad, a little more sober. You see that you have more smoky, the people are serious, people are more, tenebrism really play with the mood of the picture. So if you go tenebrism, impasto, let's go here, let's go do the opposite we are doing with Fresco there. Let's go with instead of going, let's go to impasto. Let's put impasto. Let's put here, instead of glazing, sfumato. Sfumato, instead of fresco, let's go chiaroscuro. Chiaroscuro. Let's put here, instead of scumbling, let's put palette knife. Palette knife. A lot of paint. So now we go darker, sober. Here we go. Look, the glazing with Fresco and Pointillism, they have something super bright, super full of details, texture, beautiful, right? That's where we're going with everything clear. So let's go now with everything more somber. Now here we get the pasto with sfumato, chiaroscuro, palette knife. So you're gonna see something way more darker. You can play with some terms as well. So for example, let's get this last one here, and I could work. One thing you can do is play with the weather and with the lights. You can play a little bit with this as well. So for example, here I can put blue hour. So you can still play with those things, because I think when you play with the light, you're not using terms that will get you away from oil painting. So for example, let's put here blue hour. Blue hour, I'm gonna get to the early evening with blue hour, different than gold hour, which is more sunset and or sunshine. So now we have here the impasto chiaroscuro. And it's very strong and a lot of paste, very strong colors. I was expecting a little more darker than that, but it's okay. I think give you guys a point. So here now I put the same one above. I just put blue hour. We're gonna get at night, at the early evening with blue hour effect. I could put another effects here as well. Well, I pretty much this is cover everything that I want to show you guys. So we learned here today how to control a little bit the strokes, a little bit how they behave in the painting. And we got also dominate here how we control the colors and the feeling from darker to more lighter. And as I said, I think this is a good first video about oil painting. Oil painting as a world. I invite you to study about this, learn more. There's a lot of things to learn. And again, I try to learn those terms to keep yourself on the world of oil painting. Well, if you like it, please give me a subscription, give me a like. This means a lot for me. I'm just starting here. I'm doing that to share everything I'm learning. If I said something wrong here, see some painters are watching, I said something absolutely wrong here, please teach me. I'm here to learn as well. And by the way, I'm teaching to learn. I learn a lot when I prepare and study for those videos. So thank you, everyone. See you guys next video. Bye bye.